Buzz were about people's passion.
I'm sorry?
We're here, Bionic Buzz, were people's passion. Where'd your passion for acting kind of come from? What inspired you growing up?
Wow. What inspired me? You know what? It's a weird story. I went to Catholic schools when I was in grammar school, and we moved to a town that didn't have a Catholic school. So I went into the public schools, and it was a really difficult adjustment. It was like 6th grade, 7th grade, and I didn't fit in. I didn't adjust at all. And they were ready to send me to a school for kids with problems. And this English teacher had me audition for the school play. And it was Spoon River anthology, Edgar Lee Masters. And I auditioned for it, and I got the part. And I felt, most kids at that age, this was like 11, have stage fright when they get on stage. I had stage fright when I was off stage. I went on stage, and it's like this warmth came over me, and I suddenly felt so safe to just play. It was a weird thing. And this wonderful English teacher, a woman named Joyce Wilkes, she just sensed something about me. She sensed that this wasn't a kid with learning disabilities. This was a kid who just wasn't adjusting well. And it was through the theater that I learned to relate. And I found like a safe place. And I ended up doing all the leads in all the plays in high school from then on. I mean, it just took off to the point where and I also ended up getting in all advanced placement classes. I was doing physics and calculus. Everything just soared because suddenly I felt safe to explore and to express myself, and I wasn't so intimidated by all this chaos in the public school around me. And I ended up graduating a year early, getting a scholarship to go to Juilliard, and I've been living on acting ever since. I mean, it's an amazing story. If it hadn't been for Joyce Wilkes, that English teacher, I would have gone in an entirely different direction. And it was really the theater. I did. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. No, it's a real example of how a good teacher can save a kid. Well, yeah, that's great. It is, absolutely. They're so important. Yeah.
What would you bring differently to this one compared to the other one?
Well, that's the trick, is not to be different. It's to be true to the original character. Because I think the audience for Batman is the most incredibly passionate audience. They know him better than I know him. And they have an intimate relationship with him. So the trick has been to be true to the character over 28 years, to keep it fresh. And I think having a theater background is what makes it easier for me to do that. You know, you have to keep a show alive 8 times a week. Superman is horning in on me. He's trying to intimidate me, and I'm not.
All right. Well, it's pretty cool because so many people I talked to in the animation realm, they got in because of the Batman '90s animated series. So,
Well, that's great.
yeah, that's amazing.
That's great.
So thank you very much.
Sure. Take care. Good talking to you.
All right.
You know, in theater.
Do you have a theater background?
When I was working with Orson
I was working with Orson Welles.
Hey, here we go.
Oh, look at that.
All right. Do you have theater background too?
I do. I was did a lot of musical theater from as when I was a kid. Yep.
Well, the question I ask everyone,
Yeah.
here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. Where'd your passion for acting come from? People always talk about his theater background.
Yeah.
Inspired him.
Yeah.
What about for you?
What's the
Where's
question?
your passion for acting?
I grew up in Arkansas, and I was really bad at sports. And I got into the children's theater, did a lot of musicals. I was a ballet dancer. I was a singer as a kid, and I did it till I went to college, and then I did proper theater in college at Northwestern in Chicago. And then I moved out to LA and kept begging people for a job, and I've just been begging ever since.
Now you got one.
That's right. I keep Superman. It's been it's been the longest job I've ever had. It's been so fun. Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the story of the movie?
Well, in a nutshell, it's basically five badasses from the future come back and try to wreak havoc, and the Justice League, at least the Triumvirate's there to sort of keep matters in hand.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Anything else coming up for you besides?
I'm just I'm thinking of doing some stripping maybe later. I don't know. No, I do a lot of voiceover stuff, and is this just so loud? Sorry. Kevin, do you have anything to say? Kevin, do you have anything to say? Pressure, like he's always. Anyway.
Batman, Superman.
No, I just did an arc on SVU in New York. I think it's already actually come out, but maybe that's continuing. We don't know. It's so fun. Yeah.
All right,
Thank you, man.
So here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. Where did your passion for acting and voiceover come from?
Yeah.
Imitating voices as a kid, or
This is all. You're in my wheelhouse now, man.
Okay. Where'd your passion for acting kind of come from?
Oh gosh, well I've been. Let's put it this way. I've been a professional actor, meaning getting actually paid for doing it since I was probably about 10 years old. I did a commercial, and I'm probably like dating myself right now, but I did a commercial for the action figures for the James Bond Moonraker movie. And the doll, the action figure that I was doing the voice for was Jaws. Remember Jaws?
Yes.
I forget what the actor's name is, but I got to do that character, and it's just one of these commercials that you do where the kids are playing and it's stuff like that. I will destroy you. Well, I don't still have those. I do still have a smattering of my original Star Wars action figures, and I have about 3 or 4 boxes of my combined Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars to this day.
Do you have
that
any
I've been-
Star Wars Rebels figures or anything?
Yes, I do. Oh, I've got all my Hasbro stuff. I've got all my Funko Pop stuff. I've got my 12-inch ones. I got my 6-inch ones. So I run the gamut, and I've got a couple of different frames. It's really cool to have all that stuff.
Make a figure for your character in Justice League.
Oh, I'm being psyched about that one. I can't wait. Yet another thing that I can just like.
Tell us about the character and the story.
Well, I play Mano, and he's part of the villainous team of the Fatal Five. So villains are my thing. I get a real, in spite of the fact that I'm a huge DC Universe comic book fan, I had to do some research. I really had to find out about who Mano was, what his origins were, what his real powers were, and find out his storyline. So, yep, I had to do homework before I actually got cast in this, and even in spite of that, it's like you still got to bring something unique to the table because you only have the luxury of reading what this character is all about in the comic books. You got to bring him to life because now it's the voice, and now it's his persona on screen. So you got to create something. And knock on wood, the guys at DC and Warner Brothers like what I did, and super happy about that.
Cool. Anything else coming up for you? Let's talk about any project.
Yeah, I'm guest starring in the TV series Speechless on ABC, which is coming up. My episode's coming in. I'm happy to announce that I just got nominated for an Emmy Award. Daytime Emmy Award for Best Featured Actor guest star in a daytime drama for Days of Our Lives. So I'm super stoked about that. First big nomination of that caliber, so that's exciting. And then I'm also going to be part of, I have a recurring character in the new morning show series, or as the yet untitled project that's being produced by Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon for the new Apple streaming service. So super stoked about that one.
You know who I feel like? Gene Rayburn.
Now I feel like you should interview me.
Big Bertha is so big. No, I'm sorry. We'll start for sure now.
All right, with a story.
You're gonna edit that out, right?
Justice League vs. Fatal 5. What can you tell us about the story?
Well, hopefully you should click over to the trailer right now, and you'll find out that that one member of the Legion of Superheroes comes back from the future,
Starboy.
and brings with him one of the major villain groups of
Fatal Five.
of that century, and now our world and the Justice League are in big trouble.
This is cool because most of the other animation ones are kind of based on like a certain comic. This is kind of something new, right?
Yeah, it's an original story. It pulls from Legion comics, it pulls from Justice Society comics, it pulls from the Green Lantern series, but it's an original story, which was the fun part about it, was the freedom to kind of do anything. And it's truly kind of a weird story.
It's a very weird story. It's a DC ceviche. A lot of things from other areas
It
have
is
been
maybe
blended
not
together.
what you'd expect, and it is full of very, very grand, big action, but then also like a burger joint.
Yeah, it gets vast.
Real
and it
big,
gets
real small.
Yeah.
All right. So here, Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. What your passion for
Yeah.
acting kind of come from? Is it performance-inspired, or was it naturally for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I did summer camps, and I think it was just that they make you perform the songs at the end of the at the week in front of the parents, and I think I just enjoyed it. I think that's
What can you tell us about Justice League vs. Fatal 5, your character and story?
Oh my gosh. First of all, it's a very epic story. There's a lot going on, but it's just a constant battle. I think most of the movie is fight scenes. And I play Miss Martian, and she is under Batman's wing, literally, as he takes her through what it's like to be in the Justice League. And I'm essentially in training to see if they take me in. So at the end of the movie, they make a vote, and that's... I won't spoil it. Yeah.
Watch and find out.
Watch and find out, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. Where did your passion for acting kind of come from? Was there an inspired movie, or was it just naturally for you as a kid?
You know, that's an interesting question because I was thinking about it recently. I started acting because I moved from different place to different place when I was a kid, and then I felt, you know, it's nice to. I suppose I started really doing imitations of characters, of what I liked in different people, as, you know, versions of a character actor. But the older I get, the more attuned with what kind of meaning that I want. It's really sort of digging into yourself and harmonizing that with having a different, you know, creating a different personage as well, but mainly harvesting the truth out of a character as well, you know. And that comes from the self. That comes from how you attach your own experiences, and even if you haven't killed somebody, how would that feel, and put yourself into their place. So I don't know whether that answers your question, but I've been thinking about it recently, yeah.
What can you tell us about the story of Justice League vs. Fatal 5?
Pardon me?
What can you tell us about the story of Justice League without giving away too much? You gotta get people excited, you know?
Hey, tell us a lot. Don't tell us that much. Tell us a little bit, not a lot. That's too much. So we start the Fatal 5 about 3,000 years ahead, I think. That's what he says. And there is a big cataclysmic event that's about to happen with these bad people. And I'm one of the good superheroes. What happens is that they nearly decimate all the good superheroes, and then I get in some weird place, and I go back in time to where they are. I try and find them. And that's where sort of the bulk of the narrative happens.
Nice. Cool. Anything else coming up? Any upcoming projects left to talk about?
I'm directing a film. I'm trying to put out a wildfire documentary and do some music. So it's all sort of creative.
Very cool. Look forward to hearing that. See you.
Yeah, cool, man.
All right. Thank you very much.
A newscaster.
Yeah.
Hi, we're live from Gotham.
All right. All right, reporter. What can you tell us about Justice League vs. Fatal 5?
What do you want to know? I could tell you a lot about it. Have you seen it? You haven't seen it yet. No. Well, are you going to go to the screening later? Okay. Well, you know, you'll see some familiar faces.
That's you.
Wink, wink. And then you'll see some new faces. You have some new people here, and Starboy, and you have a Jessica Cruz, and you'll see a relationship, a mentoring relationship, if you will, like between Jessica Cruz and Wonder Woman. You know, it's like a family film, which I love because you know it's not too grown up. I mean, but the grown-ups will like it as well, which I think is so. It's that perfect combination. Like the kids can come, but the grown-ups will like be engaged, which I think is that I love that in a film. And it's her from the Justice League.
All right. Well, here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. Where did your passion for acting kind of come from? A certain role inspired it, or just naturally for you as a kid?
You know what? It was growing up. Even as a little kid, I just loved the idea of show business. I didn't know I was going to do voiceover. I didn't know I was going to do acting, but I loved show business and found my way to voiceover through acting school and acting classes and all of that, and couldn't be happier because the luckiest job in the world, voicing her.
Oh, yeah. Well, anything else coming up? Anything like to plug? Any kind of projects?
I would love to plug. I can't plug because we're not allowed to talk about it, but stay tuned. There's some more things coming. That's all I can say.
That's That's a very reporter thing to say. Stay tuned. Now
Stay
back to you.
tuned. I'm going to throw it back to you in the studio, Mike.